Oh hey guys, it's Aeon here. Well, and this is what a fully maxed out enchanted loadout looks like. Every single item, best possible enchantments, no wasted books, no too expensive errors. And this is me surviving a fight that should have killed me 3 times over, because every piece of armor is enchanted exactly right. Welcome to the only Minecraft enchanting guide you will ever need. Whether you've never touched an enchanting table, or you've been playing for years and just want a quick refresher on enchanting. By the end of this video, you're going to know exactly how to build this loadout yourself. So let's start from scratch. Alright, so to enchant you will need 4 things. You will need an enchanting table, some bookshelves, a grindstone, and an anvil. To create a proper enchanting setup with max level enchantments like this one, you'll need 15 bookshelves, so that's 45 books total, which means 45 leather and 135 paper. Yeah, it's a lot. So if you're early game, you're going to need a cow farm and a sugarcane farm. I actually made a video on exactly how to set those up. I'll link that right here and in the description below. Also, you'll need a grindstone. A grindstone requires 2 sticks, 2 planks, and 1 stone slab. And of course, one of the most important things is the anvil. And the anvil requires 3 iron blocks and 4 iron ingots. Now here's something that a lot of players actually get wrong. The placement of the bookshelves matters. Your enchanting table goes in the middle, and your 15 bookshelves need to be placed with exactly 1 block of air between them and the table. So before we continue any further, let me show you how to properly set this up. First of all, you want to place down your enchanting table. Next up, you want to leave 1 block of air, and then place down your 15 bookshelves. The way I like to do it is like so. Then fill in the rest with all the remaining bookshelves you have. There we go. This is your max level enchanting setup. As you can see, if I place a pickaxe inside, we will now have the highest possible enchantments available. So here's a few things people mess up. Actually, corner bookshelves do count. So you could theoretically place some bookshelves here and it will work just fine. Second, you cannot place any block in between the bookshelves and the enchanting table. Not even a torch, not a carpet, not a half slab, nothing. If there's anything in the gap, the bookshelves won't count. I like to do it this way because it's compact, you can still walk around it easily, but honestly, the layout doesn't matter as long as you have exactly 15 bookshelves within the right range of the enchanting table. One more thing, you will also need lapis lazuli and experience levels. Lapis is your currency for enchanting, and you'll want at least 30 levels before you start. Setting up an XP farm early is one of the best things you can do in a survival world, but that's a topic for another video. Okay, so you've got your setup, you've got your levels, let's actually enchant something. Right click the enchanting table and you will see 2 slots. One is for lapis and one is for your item. Drop both of them in and you will get 3 options. So these are your 3 tiers. Tier 1 costs 1 lapis and 1 level, Tier 2 costs 2 and 2, Tier 3 costs 3 lapis and 3 levels. Now here's the important part, always go for Tier 3. I cannot stress this enough. Tier 1 and Tier 2 are basically traps unless you're doing something specific, which I'll get to in a second. When you hover over the Tier 3 option, it'll show you 1 guaranteed enchantment and then a ... which means there's a chance you'll get a bonus enchantment on top. So let's enchant this diamond pickaxe right now. And unfortunately, we weren't lucky enough, we only got efficiency 4. However, let's quickly try this again, and I'll get to this a little later on in the video. But using a grindstone, we can remove the enchantments placed on the enchanted item. So in this case, let's try to get a better enchantment. So let's place in the lapis and the pickaxe again. And now we got lucky, we got fortune 3, efficiency 4, and unbreaking 3. That's the beauty of tier 3. You get the best odds for high level enchantments and the best chance of getting multiple ones. But what if you don't get what you want? Like, let's say I wanted to have silk touch instead of fortune. This is where the dummy enchant trick comes in. And honestly, this is one of the most important things of this video. The enchantment table gives you the same 3 options until you enchant something. Currently, it gives us efficiency 1, unbreaking 1, and efficiency 4. But even if we take out our pickaxe and put it back in, the enchantments stay the same. However, once you enchant any item, the options refresh. So if you don't want what's being offered, just grab a book or a throwaway item and enchant it with the tier 1 option. That only costs 1 level and 1 lapis. Let's say we would like to have Silk Touch. Let's just use the tier 1 enchantment to refresh our enchantments. Let's head back to the grindstone. You can see that the enchantments have now refreshed. Now we have Unbreaking 2 as our tier 1, Unbreaking 3 as our tier 2, and still Efficiency as our tier 3. So theoretically, we could repeat this process for as long as we want until we get the desired option, which in our case would be Silk Touch, for example. And there we go. Now it offers us Silk Touch. I call this a dummy enchant. You're not enchanting because you want the enchantment, you're enchanting to re-roll the table. Just keep re-rolling until you see what you actually want. So I gave you a little teaser before, but what about the item you just wasted the enchantment on? That's where the grindstone comes in. Toss any enchanted item into the grindstone and it strips all the enchantments off. And you will even get a little bit of XP back. So your workflow looks like this. Check the table, and if you don't like it, use a dummy enchant, use the grindstone, and then check again. Repeat that until you get what you need. One thing to keep in mind though, the enchanting table is RNG based. You might get what you want on the first roll, or you might need 10 rolls. That's just how it works. Also, quick pro tip before we move on, this is gonna save you so many levels. Do not hoard XP above level 30. Here's why. Minecraft's XP system is not linear. Getting from 0 to 30 costs about 1,395 XP total, but going from 30 to 50 costs nearly 4,000 XP. So if you're sitting at level 100 or at level 874, just like me in the video, and you enchant something that takes 3 levels, you just lost way more actual XP than if you'd enchanted at level 30. Enchant often and stay near level 30. Don't hoard. So let's have a look at the anvil. The enchanting table is where you start, but the anvil is where you build your endgame gear. This is the tool that lets you combine enchantments, upgrade them, and put together the exact loadout you want. So let's cover the basics of the anvil. If you put 2 items of the same type in the anvil, it combines their enchantments onto one item. So just to give you an example here, let's say we have one pickaxe with efficiency 4 and another one with silk touch, unbreaking 3 and mending, and we want to combine these two. And we just put each of them into the anvil and we get one single pickaxe with all of the enchantments on it. There you go. And here's another cool part. If both items have the same enchantment at the same level, it upgrades, which means we have one pickaxe with efficiency 4 here that we just combined in the anvil. And then we have another one with efficiency 4. It will create an efficiency 5 pickaxe. So efficiency 4 plus efficiency 4 equals efficiency 5. There you go. And you can also combine enchanted books with items. This is how you enchant things that the enchanting table won't accept. In this case, to show you an example, we will use this efficiency 5 pickaxe, and let's say we want to put mending on it. All we need to do is put the pickaxe and the book inside of the anvil, and it will combine both of these enchantments. Also, here's another quick tip. The order matters in the anvil. So if we put this mending pickaxe into the anvil, as well as this efficiency 4 and unbreaking 3 pickaxe, you can see that combining them will cost you 14 levels. However, sometimes swapping them around can actually make the price cheaper. So let's say we swap both of these, you can see now it only costs 10 levels. So always check both ways before you combine them. Now here's the part that most guides completely ignore, and it's probably the reason you've gotten a quote-unquote too expensive error before. Every time you work on an item in the anvil, combining it, renaming it, repairing it, whatever, it gains what's called a prior work penalty. The more times an item has been through the anvil, the more expensive the next operation becomes. And once the cost would hit 40 levels or more, the game mod flat out refuses. It says too expensive and won't let you do it. The anvil can only apply 39 levels worth of work maximum in a single operation. What this means is that if you just randomly slap enchanted books onto your items one at a time, you'll hit the cap way before you finish. And just to give you an example, eventually you will hit the too expensive error right here. And the solution to something like this is called the binary combining method. And it's actually really simple once you see it. So let's say we want to get the perfect pickaxe with mending, unbreaking, as well as fortune and efficiency 5. Instead of putting the pickaxe inside of the anvil and each book individually and enchanting them, what you can do is just enchant the books together. So let's say we want efficiency 5 and we have 2 efficiency 4 books. So first of all, we combine these books for efficiency 5. Next up, we combine the mending with the unbreaking book. And then we combine the Unbreaking 3 and Mending book with the Fortune 3 book. And lastly, we combine it with the Efficiency 5 book. And now lastly, all we need to do is combine the pickaxe with all of our enchantments on the single book. And this way, each item only goes through the anvil a couple of times, so you stay way under the cost cap. The rule of thumb is combine items that have been through the anvil the same number of times, same tier with same tier. If you mix a heavily worked item with a fresh one, you're wasting anvil uses on the fresh item and driving up the cost unnecessarily. Before we continue, I want to quickly shout out Nodecraft. If you are in need of a Minecraft server to play with your friends, check out Nodecraft. They are the best server hosting tool that I've used so far. Check the description of the video and use the discount code Aeon to get 30% off your first order. And if you're looking for a place to buy games online for cheap, check out Instant Gaming. By using the link in the description, you're directly supporting me. Okay, and with that said, now let's continue. Alright, and now the part everyone's been waiting for. I'm gonna go through every enchantable item in the game and tell you exactly what to put on it. We're gonna move quick here, but I've got chapters in the timeline, so you can jump straight to whatever item you need. So let's start with your main tools. These are pickaxe, axe, shovel, and hoe. All of these share the same core enchantments. Unbreaking 3, Mending, and Efficiency. Of course, Efficiency 5 is the highest variant. Then you pick either Silk Touch or Fortune 3. You can't have both of them on the same item, so ideally you want to have two pickaxes, for example. One with Fortune and one with Silk Touch. Here's a quick reminder, Fortune gives you more drops when you mine a block, like getting 3 diamonds from one ore instead of just 1 diamond, for example. And Silk Touch lets you pick up blocks as is, so you can grab a diamond ore block whole without breaking it. Both are incredibly useful, just for different situations. For the axe specifically, you can also slap sharpness 5 on there, since axes double as weapons. Actually, a fully enchanted axe does more damage per hit than a sword. It's just a little slower. So here's an example of the highest quality Fortune 3 pick possible in the game. Obviously you want netherite instead of diamond, and then you have Fortune 3, Efficiency 5, Unbreaking 3, and Mending on it. Next up, let's look at the weapons, starting with sword. The core should always be Unbreaking 3, Mending and Looting 3, and then you can also slap on Fire Aspect, as well as Sweeping Edge 3. However, Sweeping Edge is only available on Java at this point in time. Then you want to pick your damage enchantment. You can either have Sharpness, Smite, or Bane of Arthropods. Sharpness is usually the go-to because it works on everything. Smite 5 does way more damage, but only against undead mobs like zombies and skeletons, but also on the Wither. And Bane of Arthropods is usually for spiders. My honest opinion, put Sharpness 5 on your main sword, and if you're building a Wither killing kit, make a separate Smite sword. You can also add Knockback 2 on the sword, but personally, I usually leave it off. Knocking mobs away from you sounds great until you're trying to combo a mob and it keeps flying out of range. However, some people like it. Next up, let's look at the spear. The spear is a brand new weapon from the Mounts of Mayhem update, and it's one of the most unique weapons in the game. It has longer reach than a sword, 2 attack types, a quick jab and a charge attack that deals more damage the faster you're moving, and it even has its own exclusive enchantments. Best enchantments for the spear are Unbreaking 3, Mending and Looting 3, as well as Fire Aspect 2. Then you can also put Knockback 2 on it. Then you choose your damage enchantment, again either Sharpness, Smite, or Bane of Arthropods. And lastly, the unique part about the spear is the exclusive enchantment called Lunge. Lunge propels you forward when you do a jab attack. It's basically a combat dash. At Lunge 3 you cover a ton of distance and it makes the spear feel incredible. So here's an example of the highest quality spear you can get, which is of course again netherite. Then you want to have Lunge, Sharpness, Fire Aspect, Looting, Unbreaking, and Mending on it. Now let's have a look at the Mace. The core enchantments for the Mace are Unbreaking 3, Mending, Fire Aspect 2, and Wind Burst. And then you pick one of these. It's either Density 5, Breach 4, or Smite or Bane of Arthropods. All of these are mutually exclusive. And you notice something missing? There's no sharpness. It kind of makes sense though, since the mace is not a sharp weapon but rather a dull weapon. Wind Burst launches you into the air when you hit a mob. Density increases that fall damage even further. Breach ignores armor. I would go Density, since the whole point of the mace is that falling damage mechanic. So lean into it. Now let's have a look at the Trident. The core enchantments of the Trident are Unbreaking 3, Mending, as well as Impaling 5. And then you choose a path. Path 1 on Java is Channeling and Loyalty 3. Channeling summons lightning during thunderstorms, so you can basically become Thor, and Loyalty makes the Trident come back after you throw it. Path 2 is Riptide 3. This one's completely different. Riptide propels you forward when you're in water or rain, and if you combine it with an elytra, you can launch yourself into the air from any water source. Pop open the elytra and fly without a single rocket. It's incredible, but you can't combine Riptide with channeling or loyalty. It's one path or the other. Next up, let's look at ranged weapons. Starting with the bow, your core enchantments are Unbreaking 3, Power 5, Flame, and Punch 2. Punch 2 is basically the equivalent of Knockback 2 on a sword. And then you have a big choice. You either go Infinity or Mending. My recommendation is Infinity. As long as you have one arrow in your inventory, you will have infinite arrows with the Infinity enchantment. And that's insanely convenient. You can always repair your bow in the anvil by combining it with another bow. Next up, the crossbow. And I got this wrong in my last video, so let me correct it. The correct enchantments are Unbreaking 3, Mending, and Quick Charge 3. And then you can either have Multi-Shot or Piercing. There's no power, no flame, or no infinity. Those are bow only enchantments. Multi-Shot fires 3 arrows at once, which is amazing for crowds, and piercing lets arrows pass through multiple enemies, and it ignores shields completely, which makes it incredibly strong in PvP. Now let's look at armor. Every armor piece gets Unbreaking 3 and Mending as a base. Then on each piece you pick one type of protection. You can either have Protection 4, Blast Protection 4, Projectile Protection 4, and Fire Protection 4. Protection just gives you higher defense against pretty much any type of damage. Blast Protection 4 gives you additional protection against explosions such as Creeper explosions or TNT for example. Projectile Protection is good against arrows, and Fire Protection obviously for any type of fire damage like lava for example. Now here's something most people get wrong though. They just slap Protection 4 on everything and call it a day. 4 pieces of Protection 4 gives you 64% damage reduction against everything, which is solid, but the damage reduction cap from enchantments is actually 80%. You can't reach that with protection alone. So here's the move. Put Protection 4 on 3 of your armor pieces and then put a specialized protection on the 4th. Like Fire Protection for example. That gives you 84% general protection, which is still great, but now you get 80% reduction against the fire specifically. If you're someone who spends a lot of time in the nether, that Fire Protection piece could literally save your life in lava. For example, you can have Protection 4 on your helmet, on your chest plate, as well as your leggings, and on the boots, you just slap on Fire Protection. Now there are also some unique enchantments per piece. For the helmet, you can have Aqua Affinity and Respiration 3. Respiration 3 is for breathing underwater, and Aqua Affinity is for mining faster underwater. On your leggings, you can put on Swift Sneak 3, which is a treasure enchantment from ancient cities and lets you move faster while crouching. And on the boots, you want to put on Feather Falling 4, which is basically mandatory since you take less fall damage. Then you can also put on Soul Speed 3, which is another treasure enchantment from bartering with piglins, which lets you run faster on soul sand instead of slowing you down. And then you pick either Depth Strider 3 for faster swimming or Frostwalker 2 for walking on water. Personally, I like Depth Strider. Another thing is the Thorns 3 enchantment. Thorns is available on every armor piece and it damages mobs that hit you, which sounds great, but it also chews through your durability faster. Personally, I don't like it as much, however, that's your choice. Another armor piece is the Elytra. For the Elytra, you want to slap on Unbreaking 3 and Mending. However, the Elytra cannot be enchanted in the enchanting table. You will have to use an anvil in order to put these enchantments on. Then, of course, you also have the Turtle Helmet, which gets the exact same enchantments as your regular helmet. Another armor piece is the Shield, which can also be enchanted with Unbreaking and Mending. However, it's the same situation as with the Elytra. These enchantments can only be put on the shield by using an anvil. Next up, let's look at some other tools. For the fishing rod, you can put on Unbreaking 3, Mending, as well as Luck of the Sea 3 and Lure 3. For the carrot on a stick or the warped fungus on a stick, you can put on Unbreaking 3 and Mending. Shears can be enchanted with Unbreaking 3, Mending, and Efficiency 5, which lets you instantly mine wool, which is pretty satisfying. Then you have the brush, which can be enchanted with Unbreaking 3 and Mending, and the same goes for flint and steel. A compass can also be enchanted, however only with Curse of Vanishing. We'll get to the curses later. A quick note on animal armor. Wolf armor, horse armor, and Nautilus armor cannot be enchanted in survival mode. This only works in creative, so don't waste your enchanted books trying to put protection on your wolf's armor in the anvil, as it won't let you. Alright, so if you're still here, you're serious about this. Let me give you the stuff that most enchanting guides don't even mention. First up, starting with enchantability. Every material in the game has a hidden stat called enchantability. The higher the enchantability, the better your chances of getting a high tier enchantment and multiple enchantments per roll. And here's the wild part. Gold has the highest enchantability in the game at 22. Diamond is only 10. So what does this mean practically? Well, if you're enchanting netherite gear, you're already getting better rolls than you were with diamond, since netherite has 15 enchantability versus diamond's 10. That's why your netherite pickaxe seems to get better enchantments more often. And gold at 22 is the king of enchantability, but its durability is terrible, so it's really only useful for niche situations like getting a specific enchantment on a gold item you plan to use briefly. Let's quickly talk about villager trading for enchantments. Some of the best enchantments in the game cannot be found on the enchanting table at all. Mending and Frostwalker only come from librarian villagers. If you don't have a villager trading hall set up, that's genuinely one of the most important farms in the game. You can keep breaking and replacing Electrum next to an unemployed villager until they offer mending as a trade. It takes some patience, but it's completely worth it. Then there are treasure enchantments that have specific sources. Soul Speed, as mentioned before, you will get from bartering with piglins. Swift Sneak can only be looted in ancient cities. Windburst, Density, and Breach you can only get from trial chambers. You cannot get any of these from the enchanting table or villagers. You have to go and find them. And finally, the two curses. Curse of Vanishing and Curse of Binding. Curse of Binding locks armor onto you until you die. Curse of Vanishing makes the item disappear completely on death instead of dropping. Both of these are bad. The grindstone cannot remove curses. So if you accidentally put one on your best piece of gear, well, yeah. Check your enchanted books before combining them. If you play both editions, here are the key differences you need to know for enchanting specifically. The biggest one is Sweeping Edge. It's a great sword enchantment, but it straight up doesn't exist on Bedrock. And the Trident thing catches a lot of people off guard. On Bedrock, you can always throw your Trident. Channeling is just for lightning. On Java, without loyalty, you throw it and it just stays on the ground. And that's everything. Now you know more about enchanting than like 95% of Minecraft players. If this helped you out, please consider subscribing and leaving a like, as I'm trying to get to 5k subscribers. That would be amazing. Also, I'm making more guides like this and I want to make sure you don't miss them. And with that said, I wish you a wonderful day and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!